The last thing we're casting today, it's one last best of 3. But don't worry, guys, once we're done, we'll go ahead and host the main stream so you can just kind of sit tight, enjoy our chat, and still watch some more StarCraft 2. But we're in the GFINITY Spring Masters Championship number 2, and this is still just day 1. The preliminaries, the initial parts to each group. And tomorrow, of course, we'll be back with a lot more of the action. But for now, spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map, it's going to be Yoi Flash Wolves Red, Protoss Sun.
In the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, it's Symbol.
Okay, just blind guess who's going to take this. It's probably going to be 2-0 because that's all we're getting today, but what do you think? Who's favorite?
Symbol takes it 2-0.
I can kind of see that. I want to put my pledge here towards San, though, just because I do know he can be that super. Like, we talked about him being really all-in, and his all-ins, when they do happen, are very strong. But I think if game one's going to give us like the biggest indication of this series, because this is a map where you're probably not planning for thirds, much less fourths, especially on these spawn locations. For either player really to take a third either here or here is just going to be bad news bears. So for Symbol's sake, he should hopefully get over here to scout this in time. But for San's sake, coming into this matchup, knowing that that's going to be the case, does he even plan for anything beyond 2 bases?
You would think not, but I mean, it'd be surprising. Anytime I see this map chosen by Protoss, and they go for 3 base, I'm always like, well, if they want to, I guess that's okay. But they'll actually do it. They just stay on 2 bases for a little bit longer and get a bit bigger of an army. And a less economical lead, but they'll still survive, and they'll go along with it.
Yeah, I still think nothing's going to beat out that weird match we saw was that Desert versus No Regret. The 20-minute Blink Stalker versus Roach All-In just like never gave up. The constant tug-of-war in the middle of it. Like, that was a cool matchup, and I like that one on this map. But even that still was pretty limited around 2 bases.
Yeah, it was. Well, we have a 3, like, wow, quick 3 hatch.
So I feel this is not going to work out super well for Symbol. Maybe he holds the space and maybe it's not a problem. But if San scouts this early, he doesn't even have to all-in. All he has to do is get a Colossus out and you've denied mining. You can actually pylon warp in from here to here as well, so it's just constant zealots coming in from a fairly safe location.
Yeah, this is going to be where you're like, I really wish that they had Forge Fast Expand, but no one really does that. I mean, if they do, it was because they did intend to cannon rush you and then, you know, 15-fold so that they can't. So it's usually a pretty safe build to go, but it's still, I mean, it's still,
I feel like
that's asking for trouble.
It is. Like, this map, safe is no longer like the safe we know it to be. Safe is like safe with air quotes around it.
Yeah, exactly. And even, like, the thing is, too, is that there are 2 things you can do against someone who 3 hatches, right? That's going to be pretty effective before they can... What?
So it's just funny because he goes to the base that you would assume a Zerg player takes the third. Because he's like, no, it's stupid enough to take this the third. No way.
Yeah, right. He's going to be like, what? But anyways, so, like, you either cannon rush them, and that's good, or you 4-gate them, and that's good, too. But Symbol isn't even going to use 3 hatches. This is like a fake, man. I think he's getting Lings. Legit? No, he's got 3 queens.
Well, I think...
Is he going to Ling all in?
Well, I think it's not just leaning on it, but I think he's going to need the queens as well. Like, if he actually plans to hold the third, much less the natural. Because he might have just been like, man, I built that hatchery in the worst place possible. San scouted it. There's no way he doesn't all in me, right? So we see this all the time. Zerg players die with 1,000 minerals in the bank, but if you're building 3 queens at a time on top of these lings, that might not be the case.
That is true. And he does see that the second gas has not been taken in the main, so he knows it's going to be an all-in. Now, it's not even just a 4-gate all-in. It's going to be up to 5 gateways. Oh, this one right here. So I think this is just like purely for defense. Now, it means that the 3rd hatch really isn't being used except for the larva making, but I mean, it's still going to be there, and they're going to dedicate a lot to all-inning, and if you can hold it, you can do it, then that's good. It's great.
Still just Lings, though, only just getting back into drone production right now. I mean, it's really hard to look at what he's seen. I mean, Symbol does have an Overlord here in the main. He's seen about a couple of gates. I don't think he's... How many has he seen? 3 total? No, he's seen 4. So he knows there's at least 4 gates, but it's a little bit more than that, as we know.
Well, that's a couple of queens. They'll come over. You're building them, too. So I think it's going to be like a Ling queen hold.
Not even going back like fully to reference this, but like Scarlet did that crazy build with Queens of the Infestors and WCS qualifiers, and that was kind of funny to see in and of itself. But Queens early on like this, they are actually pretty darn good. They can soak a lot of hits, they deal minor amounts of damage, but they can transfuse, which goes a long way to keeping themselves that longevity there to just chip away at Protoss. But man, for Symbol's sake, he's doing this with Does he at least have no speed on the links? Slow lings and queens. This is not going to be easy, but he's got a lot.
Oh, it's always going to be awkward having queens be part of your defense on such a map like this where the creep spread never really got to start. You know, if he attacks the natural, sure, the ling's going to be a problem, but he's warping in so many zealots that is that really true? The queens are really what's going to add something extra with their transfuses.
So many zealots.
You know, the fact that they can actually micro against the zealots, but he's going to go for the natural, and he could even, like, block out the ramp, like, go up the ramp and block it out.
This attack's going to be really good, too, for that reason. Yeah, realizing this, we have Simple Pull on top of the force, try to stop the force field from being a possibility.
Oh.
Sentry barely gets out of here alive. Now the zealots just have to get up to the top of the ramp.
Oh, how did he not actually shoot with the queens?
Goofed it up. He didn't have vision, I don't think. High ground vision wasn't available. The force was still kind of working against the zealots a little bit, which is kind of funny. Segmented some off here towards the main, so kill the queen over here. Couple the drones, holding the ramp really strong. New zealots getting warped in directly from above. And of course, even if he clears up this ramp, let's say in a hypothetical like symbol actually gets out of this, the queens are off. Creep chasing around is going to be too hard. The zealots should be able to corral and kill everything that's remaining as long as they stay clumped up and bunched up together. So the main base, the drones were pulled. Not a lot actually got killed, but he still lost a lot through the attack so far. Down 12 in a situation where it's 17 drones versus 29, and Sun is looking just unstoppable at this rate.
Yes, he is. This is it. That's GG. So, I mean, that's what can happen when you 3-hatch, right? Like, enough zealots.
I mean, it's really, it's rage.